Hello there, this is my review of the AEG Lavamat L87405FL 10Kg washing machine. As you can see, it's a very pretty machine. I love the white and the brushed silver detail. It's very streamlined. It looks very modern, although it won't age quickly. Certainly doesn't look like it's going to go out of fashion anytime soon. I like the simple design across the front, and the LED display looks very simple and quite elegant. It looks like a very expensive machine. I like the fact that the buttons are quite simple. There's no holes or areas where you can get a build-up of grime or dirt, which is quite common with washing machines usually. As you can see, the display is very clear, which is ideal for somebody who may have difficulties with their eyesight. It's great, and the functions and settings are easily determined by the flick of a switch. The light moves round quickly and easily and changes on the screen. As you can see, the drum size is absolutely massive. It holds a whopping 10 kilos of clothing, which is ideal for a large family. It looks quite deceiving. You don't really realise how big it actually is until you start piling things in. You can get loads and loads of towels in, coats, blankets, and they just seem to disappear into the massive drum. The drum is actually called a Protex drum. It means it causes no damage to your clothes. There's no jagged edges or anything inside. It's very smooth, which means it'll cause no damage to your clothes, no bobbling, nothing like that, which is great because we have had previous machines before where our clothes become bobbly or worn very, very quickly. This obviously won't do that, which is great, especially when you wash clothes a lot, when you have a child, especially a toddler. There's a very handy safety device on the inside of the drum door. It's hardly noticeable unless you're looking for it. I've used a penny, but you could use anything small enough to fit inside. You simply put something in, turn it to the right. If you then try and close the door, it doesn't fasten. It won't lock, it won't become airtight or anything like that, which is a safety measure, and it prevents children or animals becoming locked inside the drum. It's a very good idea, and I've never actually seen one on a machine before. It's quickly released just by turning back, and then you can close the door as normal. As you can see, there are various different settings on the front of the machine. You've got anti-crease, you've got very short refresh options, then you've got your standard washers, and a very quick 20-minute wash for around 3 kilos of clothing. I think it's a great idea, and it's great for smaller loads, towels, things like that aren't excessively dirty. You've then got your more common things over here that you would use. I would tend to use the cottons, the synthetics. It's also great to see there's a duvet washing option, which is great. Obviously you can fit a duvet in easily due to the size of the drum. We would usually take our duvets to the local laundrette to be cleaned, but at £10 plus a shot, obviously being able to do it at home is much more cost effective for us. So you can easily change the different functions and settings. I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to put a load on. I would usually go for a synthetic. It automatically comes up 40 degrees. The time would take 2 hours 19 minutes. Obviously you can change that depending on the temperature. To drop it down and shorten it, you can drop the heat down right down to 1 hour 59 minutes at 20 degrees. Obviously you choose what temperature you use depending on how dirty your clothes are. That tends to be the standard kind of wash that I would use. But I'll show you how easy it is to load the machine and start the setting off. So here you can see the usual size of a pile of clothes for us. This is probably a daily wash in our house. It looks quite a lot. It's our daily clothes really, a couple of towels, our nightwear and such like. I want to show you how easily it fits into the drum. So that's gone in there, no problem. There's still space, I could easily get other items in if I needed to. But because the drum's so big, everything goes in easily. There's no force and there's nothing jammed in. I know that there's still enough space for the clothing to wash easily. So the detergent drawer looks a bit like this. It's got quite a few different compartments. Probably more than I've ever seen in a washing machine, if I'm honest. Everything is labelled so you can tell which areas need to have what. You can pull it out a little bit further. This is where you would add your powder detergent, and the little flap goes down and it shows that you can add liquid detergent. It even has helpful measurements which tell you obviously what you shouldn't exceed. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use liquid. So I'll put this in. I would fill to the lower line because nothing's excessively dirty. It's just a standard wash. So I filled it with 60 mils. You can also add extra additives and such like in here. You can put your fabric softener in. You can put your pre-washes, stain removal, anything else you would usually use in your wash. They all have separate compartments though, so you know where it needs to go. Drawer goes in easily, closes like that. The machine then, it literally is just a case of pressing start. Everything's on the screen that you need to see. Temperature, settings, everything's on. All you need to do is press start. Machine starts, and then obviously it'll go through the wash. As you can hear, the noise is really quiet. It's the quietest washing machine I've ever had. Probably one of the quietest I've ever heard. You can actually put it on in the kitchen and forget that it's on, which is actually quite nice when you have a small house. It fills up quickly and quietly, and the full cycle is very quiet. But if that noise is too much for you, it does have an extra silent option. So if you're suffering, if you're tired, hungover, and you really can't cope with the noise of the washing machine, this will be a saviour. So overall, I really like the AEG Lavamat 10 kg machine. It's great, it's a perfect family machine. The 10 kg drum is great. It means you can get all your washing done once in a day. You don't have to do multiple loads. It's obviously AAA energy rated machine as well, so it's cost effective to use. You don't have to worry about the amount of electricity you're using by doing multiple loads each day. I love the LCD display. It's very clear. It's ideal for somebody with bad eyesight like myself. I can easily see. The numbers are clear. I like the red on black. It looks modern, it looks stylish. I like the fact that the drum is kind to your clothes. You don't have to worry that you've got to wash something regularly, that it's going to be damaged or bobble or anything like that. I particularly like that for woolens and jumpers. Nobody wants to wreck the clothes, especially when you've paid a lot for them. I also like the addition of the child safety lock. It's always reassuring to know that your child's very unlikely to come to any injury or harm from an appliance. I like the fact there's lots of programs, there's something for everybody, particularly the duvet setting. I think that's great. I also like the fact it has an allergy setting, which is perfect for somebody with sensitive skin or for babies. Obviously baby skins are super sensitive and super soft when they're first born, so it's nice having that extra reassurance from the anti-allergy setting. It also is a super quiet machine. It's the quietest washing machine I've ever heard. I'm very happy that it's in our kitchen. It's made a massive difference to the noise that comes from the kitchen. The only bad points that I can see from the machine is I do think the handle on the door is slightly flimsy in comparison to the rest of the machine. The rest of the machine does look very expensive and a well-made product, but I do think the door has quite a flimsy feel. I do have a fear that potentially over time that it may damage or snap. Obviously I don't know that, but it just does feel a little bit weak. The machine does seem a little bit deeper than previous machines, so it does stick out. Although that could just be we have quite narrow cupboards, and that obviously doesn't make a great deal of difference, but just be mindful if you do have a narrow kitchen or minimal floor space, as it does stick out a little bit. The only other thing I would say is that it would have been nice for a few more shorter settings. Obviously there's a great deal of option, various different functions that you can choose from, but most of them are quite long, unless you drop the temperature down really low. So it would have been nice maybe to have a 30-minute, 40-minute upwards kind of cycle. We obviously have got the 20-minute cycle, but that is just for smaller loads. Overall though, I would definitely recommend it. It's a good looking machine, it does what it needs to, and it does it well. It's a great family friendly machine, and I love how quiet it is. I would recommend it. It's definitely worth buying.